Hello friends, it's Doll's Mummy Diaries. How are you doing? How is everything going for you? Are you strong or are you feeling weak? Are you feeling up or are you feeling down? Well, I'm here to cheer up your day for you. So here is my beautiful Samuel. You may have met him already on my other video, Santa Visited Me Early, part 3. That's where you would have met him, and you would have also met him in part 1 of that video, Santa Visited Me Early. So Samuel's here again today in full action, making his baby sounds, blinking his eyes. And look who I've got here with him. Yeah, it's his sister, Serenity. So Samuel has got 2 sisters and 1 brother. So he's got Serenity here, 1 sister. The other sister and the brother are downstairs in the cot in the nursery, they're asleep. The reason why I've brought Serenity up here today with Samuel is because she is really, really dirty. She's got so much dust and dirt in her face and in her mouth that it's time for her to have a wash. And I thought I'd do a video showing you how to look after your Mattel Miracle Moves baby doll. And the biggest issue is this congregation of dust and fluff that sort of zones in on these dolls and stick themselves to the doll's rubber skin. So I don't know if my camera can show you the amount of dust on her face. Maybe I should take her near the window. Maybe you'll be able to see all the dust on her face. Let me just take her to the window. Like the level of dust on her face, you would think that I'd kept her in storage. You would. You literally would think that she's been in storage. I don't think it's showing very clearly on the video here. Let me see if I put her down here. So she's got a lot of dust and dirt on her face. And she's not been in storage. She's been in her cot with her siblings. But she's very dusty. Especially around her eyes. Can you see? I think the camera's picking up the dirt now. See all that dust around her eyes? All she's been doing is sleeping. My Mattel Miracle Moves baby doll spent a lot of time sleeping. It's just absolutely horrendous, the amount of dirt on this doll's face. Every other part of her body is actually clean. It's the face that you need to take care of. That's where all the dust accumulates. So her legs are fine. No dust there. And even the material of her body is fine. It's just this face. It's just really dirty. Can you see under her chin there? Can you see the dust there? And her mouth is really dusty and dirty. Okay, so I'm still examining her face. I've moved to my bedroom to see if I can show you the amount of dust on her skin. So I think it's coming out much better here in this room. So imagine if she was in storage. And the fact is, when I got her, she only cost me £3.50, which is about maybe $5 on eBay. She'd been in storage for a very long time, and a charity was selling her. And they said, oh, we switched her on. She's making some noises. She's blinking her eyes, but we don't know if she's working. So we're only selling her for £3.50. Of course, I knew if she's blinking her eyes and saying stuff, of course she's working. Because when these dolls don't work, they don't switch on at all. They don't talk. So I quickly bought her. The only downside was that she had a lot of little brown marks on her face. But you know what? I spent days trying to get that stuff off and made little progress. But in the end, I decided they would just be freckles. Freckles. Why stress about some freckles? And actually, they faded now. As you can see, you can't really see them anymore. As she was laying there in her cot, I think those freckles just faded because I can't see them now, which is good. If only I'd known, I wouldn't have spent so much time trying to get rid of them. Oh, I spent hours scrubbing them. So yeah, that's her dusty face. We're going to give her a nice good clean. And we're going to have a chat. Would you like that, guys? A chat? Okay then, let's have a chat. So guys, it's time for me to wash this baby girl. Her name is Serenity Amara. How did I come up with her name? Well, I was just looking for an unusual name. As you know, I love to give my baby dolls unusual names. And I thought at the time that I'd go French, look for a French name. So I did look up French names, and I found this name, Serenity, which is spelled different to the word serenity. It's spelled Serenite. So that was her name, Serenity, first name. And then she's got a middle name, Amara, which is Amara. Now, Amara came from a piece of paper that was included in her box when she arrived. I bought her, as I said, from a charity on eBay for £3.50. There was a little piece of paper folded up inside her box, and it had the word Amara written on it, Amara. And I thought, could be her name, could be her owner's name, I don't know. But it was there, and I decided that would be her middle name. And I have looked up the meaning of Amara, the way it's spelled, and it means everlasting flower. So that's how she got her name. And Serenity obviously means serene in French. I thought that I had only 2 drink and wets, Miracle Moos, my 2 ethnic babies that are downstairs sleeping, Valentine and his sister Lviv. But when I picked up Serenity today, I happened to look in her mouth, and oh my God, she's got a feeding hole in her mouth, which means I've got 3 drink and wets, not 2. What a lovely surprise. That is a lovely surprise. So after I've cleaned her up, I'm going to show you me feeding her. I'm going to use this little baby Annabelle bottle to feed her, because I want to test out to see if her drink and wet is working. I can't remember whether at the time I bought her, whether I tested it out, but I just don't remember her being a drink and wet. So it's a lovely surprise to find out that she is actually drink and wet. So let's get her washed. So I am going to use, I'll show you what I'm going to be using for her. I am going to be using washing up liquid. In the UK, we call it washing up liquid, but I know that in the United States, it's called dish soap. And me being a Brit, I still don't understand how it's called dish soap, because this is not in a dish, it's in a bottle. But I'm sure one of you can explain to me why a liquid is called dish soap. Oh, I think I know. Is it because you use it to wash dishes? Well, as a Brit, I'm going to tell you that makes no sense, because you're not going to use the liquid only to wash the dishes. You'll use it to wash pots too, spoons, forks and knives. So really, it shouldn't be called dish soap. But I'm not going to argue any further with you, because I know you probably think, what does it matter? You're right, what does it matter? So dish soap, washing liquid with warm water and a J-cloth. We call this a J-cloth. I have no idea what it's called in the United States of America. I can only assume it must be a J-cloth, because by now I would have heard through one of the videos that I watch, one of the American ones, someone referring to this as something else. So I assume we call it a J-cloth. Okay, so let's get some dish soap onto the cloth, and let's get this on Serenity Amara's face, because that's where it needs to go. If you're wondering how old Serenity Amara is, I'm just looking in my little book. You know that book I always tell you about? The one that's got all their birthdays in. So this little book tells me that she was born on the 6th of September 2022. So she's 1 year old now, 1.5 years old. I think September, October, November, December, January, February. Less than 1.5 years old. So I've put the dish soap in the water and I'm wiping her face. I'm being careful not to let water drip into her eyeballs, because obviously she is a robotic doll, so we don't want to mess up her internal workings by having water drip inside. So I'm just wiping off all that awful dust. Not only her face, but her neck. I've just looked at the back of her neck. There's a lot of dust gathering there too. Doing inside her mouth, there's so much dust in there because she keeps her mouth open. The Miracle Moves baby doll, their mouths stay open, even if they're not drinking wet, because if they're not drinking wet, they still drink from a pretend bottle. Put a bottle in their mouth, they will drink, but they won't wet themselves. So they're made with their mouths open. Their mouths are left open, so even when they go to sleep, the mouths stay open, and that's how all the dust just goes in there and collects. So I pierced her ears. I pierced all of my dolls' ears. I think all of my dolls have pierced ears because they have nice, thin ears that are easy to pierce. Normally what I do is I don't actually use like a pin or anything. Normally the back of the earring will just go into the rubber because their ears have very thin rubber. So you just push the earring in and it should go in. And I've discovered that you don't even have to put the back of the earring at the back. If you strategically put that earring in, like here I did put the back of an earring in there, but if you strategically aim that earring this way so that instead of it coming out there, it's going into the ear, you won't have to put a back of an earring in it because it's that way. The back will go in that way and it will stay in. That's what I've learnt. But if you're nervous about doing that, obviously you can do it this way and have the back sticking out where you can see it and where you can, you know, monitor it. Can you see some of the freckles that I was telling you about earlier? The ones on her face seem to have disappeared, but the ones on her neck are still there. Can you see those freckles? But she was worth £3.50, so I encourage you, if you see a Mattel Miracle Moves doll, because I had, like with Samuel, the seller said, untested, blinks eyes, but untested, not sure if it works. A bit confused, isn't it, where they say untested blinks eyes. Well, for you to know that it's blinking its eyes, you tested it, but they say that to cover themselves. They don't want to say it works. But I know, as somebody who collects these dolls, and have had many of them, if the doll is blinking its eyes and they said you know, there's a good chance that it's probably working. You know, I've had a doll where someone said they tested the doll, it was not responsive. They said it was unresponsive and they were selling it for £5. That's a Mattel Miracle Moves. I bought it anyway. I thought I can't lose for £5. You know, I bought the doll and guess what I did? I opened up the battery and I hoovered out the dust. And then I gave the doll a bit of a pat on the back. I put the batteries in. The doll was fully working. I got him for £5. You see, the more you collect a certain type of doll, you become a specialist in it. And you know everything about the doll. You understand the doll better than other people. And when you're in that situation, you can get bargains because you know what other people don't know. I don't really pay. When I first bought my first Mattel Miracle Moves, I think I spent about £25. That's all I had in my budget for Mattel Miracle Moves. And I waited a long time because a lot of people sell them expensively, especially on Etsy, where they put it down for £139, £150, £200. I thought, these people are crazy. Why would I pay that when I know that on eBay you can get it cheaper? I did have to wait. You do have to wait. Sometimes you go on eBay and there's loads of them there for like £25, £30, £40. And then you get like a drought period where there's nothing, and the odd one you see will be one that's been sold from America or Italy, and it's like crazy money, like £130, £140. Don't buy it. Just wait. Wait for your moment. Your moment will come. So go for the untested ones that are for £5. I will say anything untested that's going to cost you more than £10, don't buy it. Because you have to work, just like I would pay the £5, then obviously there's postage. And most of the time the postage is really, really small, like £3, £4. But once they say untested and they charge you more than £10, and that's for any doll that's a robotic or animatronic, as soon as it's more than £10, more than $10, well, maybe more than $15, and it's untested, don't buy it. There's a risk that it might not work. It's not worth it for you. But if it's like $10, you can lose $10, can't you? And you know what? I've never ever bought an untested doll that I actually lost out on. Never. Even with my glue baby talk dolls. You know, the scary 1980s dolls, where I've bought them untested for a small amount of money. I've never lost out. They've always worked. Some of them have had to really work hard on to get them to work, but they did work in the end, you know, and I saved money that way. Okay, so Serenity's had her face all cleaned up. See it? Just, I'm going to clean her hands, so bear with me while I just clean her hands and her feet, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Guys, have I ever introduced you to my plants? So apart from collecting a lot of dolls, I also collect a lot of plants. I go around hunting for plants that people don't want, and then I rehome them in my home. So this is Monty, who is a Monticera plant. She is huge, isn't she? So I joined some Facebook groups, plant hobby Facebook groups, and I put out a shout out to everyone out there. I said, hey, anyone got a Monticera they don't want? And immediately I got a response from a lady. This was back in February last year, saying, look, I got one, I don't want her. And she lived local to me, so I hurried down there and I got her. She wasn't as big as this one, I got her, but she was in a right state. You know, she was looking all beraggled. She was looking thirsty. She had a lot of wrinkly brown leaves. She was in a state. But as you can see, she's looking gorgeous. So I just thought I'd introduce her to you. I've got loads of other plants around my flat. And they are all rescued ones. Basically, if my neighbour puts out plants, any of my neighbours put out plants for the trash, I take them in. I look after, nurture them, and get them back into health, and I just keep them. Right, let's get back to Serenity Armara. So Serenity is on now. I'm going to put her socks on her. Just going to put socks on her feet. She will fall asleep because she's laying down. If you lay them down, they fall asleep. Right, I'm going to put some powder on her face to stop this problem of the dust just collecting on her face. I don't think I put powder on her, or maybe it's a long time since I put powder on her face. So I'm just going to put some powder. And as she's got lighter skin, I'm going to use a very light I'm going to use some pressed powder, and it's a light colour because obviously she's got fair skin. And as you can see, she loves the idea of having that on her skin. She responded by saying, ah. And she's laughing because she knows exactly what I'm saying. I do feel like they do seem like they understand, you know, these dolls. When you're talking, they kind of make sounds that kind of connects to what you're saying. So put a generous amount of powder on your Mattel Miracle Mousse baby doll's face, because you have got that enemy of dust and fluff that just wants to make their life miserable. So I'm going to be generous with the amount of powder I put on her today. So that should keep her dust free for at least a month or so. As you can see, I've added eyelashes to her. Normally they have blonde eyelashes, but when you buy them secondhand, pre-loved, a lot of the times, especially if they're cheap, they won't have eyelashes. So you can either leave them without eyelashes or just go to your pound shop or dollar shop and buy some cheap fake eyelashes and just glue them on using normal glue. I just think it improves their looks when they have the eyelashes. So that's her face sorted out. I've got to sort out her hair. So she's got her socks on. Those are her cute little socks, winter socks to keep her lovely and warm. She's got a winter dress on. All I have to do is fix her hair. Samuel's fast asleep now. And Serenity is laughing at that. I could swear that these dolls do understand what we're talking about, you know. They just laugh at the right moment and make the sounds to what you're saying, you know. Never underestimate a robot doll. And she's laughing because she agrees with me. Oh dear, it's got a bit tangled. Right, I am going to put some of this in her hair. It's stuff that I use for my own hair. Aloe oil, moisture renew, leave-in. Protects against heat, styling damage and energizes hair. Repair and revive. Can you see that? Okay, so let's get... Oh, she's fallen asleep and she's... I'm not laying her down and she's just gone to sleep anyway. Serenity. Serenity, Amara, wake up. So I rub it right into the tips of her hair. I'm not going to blow dry it today. I don't want her to have too much heat in her hair. And her hair's looking okay today, so sometimes I blow dry her hair just to make it look nicer. Let's give it a nice brush. I'm not sure what hairstyle I'll give her today. I normally like to tie them all up. See whether we should brush it down today or not. Okay, so I've done Serenity Amara's hair. Look. She's got a slider at the side of her hair. And she's got 2 little pom-poms. Isn't she gorgeous? Yes, she is. Now it's time to feed this baby girl. So let's put her bib on her. And let's see if we can get her fed. She must be really hungry. Serenity Yamara. It's time to eat, baby girl. Wake up. There you go, she's woken up now. Serenity, would you like something to drink? Yeah. Okay, baby girl. Yeah, it's time to eat. Come on, baby girl. I'm feeding you, baby. She normally makes if she wants you to continue to feed her. This sound she's making is because she's wet herself. She's telling you that she's wet. I know you're wet, honey, but she's making those sounds because she wants you to change her nappy. But I want her to finish. She's saying, I'm wet, I'm wet. That's what she's saying. I know you're wet, honey, but do you not want to drink some more? No, she's wet. She's refusing to eat unless I change her. So I'm going to change her. Yeah, she's saying, I'm wet. Okay, baby girl. Oh, she burped. If you pat them on the back, they burp. How are you feeling, Serenity? Do you want me to change you now, yeah? Yeah, okay, I heard. I've heard. I'm changing you. Chill. And she is actually wet, you know. She's not lying. Let's just try and get the camera there. Can you see she's wet there? That's why she's been crying. She didn't want to have any more. And the diaper is really soaking wet. That's why she wouldn't drink anymore. Because when they're wet, they can't concentrate on anything else. They want to be changed. So that's why she wouldn't drink anymore. So I'm going to have to change her. Let's see if I try and feed her, whether she'll... I'll take off the... No, I can't take it off. If I take it off, she will wet all over my sofa. Okay, let's see if she will take any more, even though I haven't changed her. If she doesn't, it means that when they're completely wet, they won't have anything more to eat. Serenity, honey, wake up. Good girl. Here, do you want some more? Do you want some more to drink? Serenity. Serenity. Have something to drink. No. Ooh, can you hear that sound? That's her weeing herself. No, she's wet. She wants to be changed. So, okay, Serenity, I'm going to change you now, honey. I know, you're wet. Yeah, I know, I understand. I'm trying to change you. Okay, honey. That's okay, honey. That's okay, honey. Do you want to go to sleep now? Yeah? Okay then, you go to sleep. Or do you want to be awake? You want to sleep, don't you? You've had enough. You're tired now. La la, la la, la la, la la, la la, la la, yeah, 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 la la, la la, la la, la la, la la. She makes more sounds. The drinking wet makes additional sounds that the one that's not drinking wet doesn't make. So she's complaining because she's still wet down there, but it's not going to dry that quick. It's not going to dry that quick. It'll take time for the fact that she's wet. It's going to take time for it to dry, but in the meantime, she's going to be complaining. I know you're... So I think with Serenity, her drink and wet is working, but it's faulty. So she's really, really wet down there, which she's not meant to be. Normally, the water should come through a little hole that's under there, and none of her material around the area should be wet. So the only thing that should be wet is her diaper, but not the material around it. Not as much as it's wet underneath Serenity. So I think there's a little bit of a leak there, which I'm not going to be able to fix because I'd have to strip her, open her all up. Without the water in the bottle, she will still make drinking sounds. The only thing she won't do is alert you to the fact that she's wet, because she won't be wet if you're just feeding her the bottle with no water. So I think that's what I'm going to do with her for the future, just feed her without the water, because there is some kind of fault there where everything is getting wet underneath. She's refusing to fall asleep. Anyway, guys, I hope you've had fun watching this. You've seen my drinking wet, you've seen my one that's not drinking wet, he's falling asleep. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me via the YouTube channel. You can comment below or send me a message on my Instagram, Ola1979 at Dolls Mummy Diaries. Cheers! Hello friends, it's Doll's Mummy Diaries. I hope that you feel inspired by the videos that you watch on my channel. I hope they trigger you to think of how you can reach for your dreams and make the things that you want to be real in your life come real. It's a new year. It's a new slate. Be inspired as you watch these videos. Reach out to the stars and move forward with the dreams that you have. Everyone is born to dream, and you can dream big. So go for it today.